Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create my super cute Lifesaver burst bracelet. I'm so excited to show you guys this design. I really like it. I think it's so cool and unique. However, I do quickly want to mention, I know Jordan Team 1 posted a charm or bracelet yesterday that looks very similar to this. I did not copy that design. I had this made for about a week or so. I've just been kind of tweaking it and have not had a chance to get it posted. But it is a little different as far as she makes it and how I make it. So, being that I worked so hard on this design and it was my own, I definitely want to get that out there for all my followers. Also, I did want to say that this bracelet here was renamed Lifesaver Burst because one of my Instagram followers, her name is dramaqueen_27, gave me the idea to dedicate this bracelet to all of our soldiers out there that are fighting for us every single day for our freedom. So we definitely appreciate you guys risking your lives for us, and this goes out to all those soldiers out there for us. So with that being said, to make this bracelet, you will need approximately 196 bands if you want it to go all the way around your wrist. For this one, it does not go all the way around my wrist. I'm not quite sure how many bands that one makes because I only made an extension, but that takes one loom and this one takes two. You may have seen the little rings that I have on. That's something I don't know if I'll do a tutorial on, but that is something that I made when I did the bracelets. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. For this bracelet, you will need two looms if you plan on making it go all the way around your wrist without an extension. Without it going all the way around your wrist, you only need one loom, but you will need that extension. You will need one hook, which I'll be using my metal tip hook from rainbowloom.com. And then for my colors, and one Cclip as well. And for my colors, I will be trying to see how this blue looks on the border. And then I will have white, green, teal, turquoise, pink, and purple for like the flower or like lifesaver part of it. Okay, so make sure you have your loom set up in a staggered position like so. If you're using two looms, just make sure they're connected, just one in front of the other like that, and then make sure the arrows are facing away from you. We're going to start by laying our border bands, which again I'm going to use blue, dark blue, and the very first bands that we're going to lay is just from this bottom pin forward. So, and we always are going to be using double bands for the entire bracelet unless I say otherwise. So laying two bands, go from the middle pin forward. And we're just going to basically be creating like the border of the starburst going all the way down the loom. So from here we're going to go out to the left and then out to the right. And then we're going to go up one on the left. And then we're going to bring that back in here to the middle, like that. Now go up the right side and do the same thing. So up one and to the middle, like that. Now we're just going to go one forward, but we're still using double bands. Going to the left, and now going to the right. And now I'm going to go up to the middle here. Doing the same on the right side. Just like that. We're going to go forward once again. And do the same thing. We're just going to keep repeating the same step all the way down the loom. It's not too much to it. If you've made a starburst bracelet, or there's many designs out there, where you have to create that shape. So I'm sure you are very familiar with it. Going forward. To the left, up one. Into the middle. I just like to always make sure that my left side is on the bottom, my right is on top, so that it's consistent. Now doing the right side. Going forward 1. Going to the left and out to the right. Going up. Now your wrist may be a little bigger or a little bit smaller, so you may not need as many like Lifesaver circles as I do. The 7 I feel like is for a pretty typical wrist size. It fits my wrist, and then it actually fits my niece's wrist, who is only like 12. So I think that can work if for a child. I mean, I guess 5 or 6 may even work, but that's definitely something you're going to want to measure out to see if 7's, too many. But you just want to lay as many as you think you'll need for it to fit around your wrist. And then once you have laid the amount that you need, I laid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've laid 6 right now. However many you need when you do your last Lifesaver circle border, just lay 1 more going straight forward. I'm going to make 1 more because I need 7 for my wrist. I got a little ahead of you guys, sorry about that. The loom's so long, when it's doubled, it like starts to come into my stomach. And I don't realize that it's out of the camera view, so sorry. Okay, so that was my last border circle that I needed right there. So the last band that I'm going to lay is just straight forward, just like that. That way, that'll hook on to the other end with our C-clip at the end. So at this point, you should just have a bunch of border bands laid so that we can fill our Lifesaver / starburst in the middle. But we're going to be adding quite a few bands on, so I would make sure to go back down the loom and just push everything down as far down as you can possibly go, just so we have enough room to lay all those bands. Okay, so I did go off camera and pushed all my bands down. So you just want to make sure that your loom looks like this going all the way down. And if it does, now we can go ahead and start filling in our middles here. Now I do just want to let you guys know that it does take a little bit of time to make this bracelet, because there's a couple steps that we have to do in order to achieve the final look. So just wanted to prepare you for that. But right now we're going to go ahead and lay our center starburst band. And it doesn't matter exactly which pin you lay first, as long as they're going out to each one of these pins. So I'm going to be alternating colors, so I'm just going to go forward with my white, and these are also going to be all double banded, so just make sure you have 2 bands going out to each pin. Just go around each one like so. And it may start to get a little squished in there. Just try your best to push it down as much as you can. Now we're going to go to the next one. You may want to pay attention to the colors that you laid, if you want it to stay consistent for the colors to be all in the same spot. If you don't care about that or want to mix it up, you can certainly do that as well. So I'm going on to my next one. Doing the same thing, using double bands, and I like to make sure that my bands are not intertwined. Sorry about that, guys. My phone is what I'm using to do my video recording, and it just cut off. So the last thing I did was laid my green out to there, and now I'm going to go to my pink. Just going to continue filling my starburst. Just trying to remember what color I used. Okay. And if I'm taking too long, you may certainly fast forward if you already get ahead of me. So just keep going down the loom, filling out the starburst shape. And then I can tell you what we're going to do next. Just don't forget that we are using double bands each time. It's very important. After I fill this starburst, I'm going to go off camera and finish filling the rest of my starburst, or my circles, and then I will come back and let you know what we're going to do at the next step, just so I don't keep you guys kind of sitting around waiting on me. So I'll be right back. Just keep going down the loom, doing the same thing, filling out your middle. Okay, guys, so I did go ahead and finish up laying all the centers of filling in the circles here in a starburst shape. So your loom should look like this all the way up. Just make sure they're all completely filled out. And then now what we're going to do is on the very center of each starburst shape, we need to add a triple cap band. We are going to still be using double bands. So again, double bands and triple cap banding it on the very middle of our starburst pin. So I don't know if it's just me, but I have a very hard time triple cap banding like in one motion. So if you have an easier way to do it, it does not matter how you achieve it, as long as you have double bands, cap band 3 times, or a triple cap band on that middle pin. So I'm going to attempt to do it my way. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So I wrap it around twice, then I grab 2 bands with my hook, and I grab the bands, cross it over, and then apply it back onto itself like that. Sometimes it works perfectly, and sometimes I get all tangled up in there. So you may have an easier way, and that is totally fine. But just go all the way down the loom. See, there we go. I just got kind of tangled in there. So I'm going to go off camera to do all of my cap bands, because it may take me a little longer than you guys. But just make sure, once again, I know I've said it already, but that you have 2 bands and that they are triple cap band only on the centers of the starburst. And I will be right back when I have all mine done. Okay, guys, so I do have the triple cap bands all the way up my loom, on the center of all of my pins. And yes, you guys are not seeing things. My nails are gone. It is actually a lot later for me than it was when I was doing this earlier. I actually had to stop. But anyways, just in case you were wondering, I took them off. So, anyway, just make sure your loom looks like this, all the way up. And now we're going to turn the loom around with the arrows facing yourself. And now we're just going to go in and loop out our starburst. You may feel a little tension because we have that triple cap band on here. But just make sure you get inside the entire cap band, pushing it completely out of the way and grabbing just the very top layer. So that will be 2 bands. In my case, it's going to be this teal here. So I'm going to grab those 2. Oh, and just make sure you don't grab any other color like I just did, which was purple. But yes, so I'm going to grab those 2. And I like to hold on to my cap band just to make sure it's not going to pop off. And then just pull it back to itself like that. And do that for the entire starburst. Go in, grab the next 2. And you have to make sure you go in order that you laid them. So as long as you're grabbing the top bands, you'll be fine. Going in, grabbing my green. And now grabbing my white. Just remember, it will always be 2 bands. So for now, we're not going to do anything with this. We're just going to go up to the next starburst and do the same thing. Sorry, just thought I'd focus it a little better. So push all those cap bands out of the way. Again, there may be a little tension, bringing the bands back onto themselves. Doing the next two. So this part is really pretty much self-explanatory. You just have to loop each starburst back upon itself. So just do that all the way up the loom. And usually you only have to hold the cap band for the first 2 bands that you loop out, because once it's stretched out, you don't really usually have to worry about that popping off, but I would hold on to it the first time so you don't lose it. So I don't know if you guys would prefer for me to just stay on camera and kind of like just go along with me and loop the starburst, or if you prefer for me to go off and come back with them all looped. I am going to go off camera and get these all looped just in case you're ahead of me. I don't want you just, you know, kind of waiting around. I guess you could always fast forward it as well, but I'm just going to go ahead off camera and get these looped back upon themselves, and then I will come back after all my starbursts are looped, and I will tell you the next steps. Okay, so now that we have all of our starbursts loomed completely out, we're going to go back to the beginning with your arrow still facing yourself, and we're going to create the Slipknot effect. And what I mean by that are these, the little Slipknot dash looking things. So in order to do that, we're going to go inside each pin, and we're going to do this on every single petal. We have to go inside the pin. I'm just going to turn it so you can see what I'm doing. Push back the top 2 bands, grabbing the bottom 2 of the petal, and pull those 2 bands up. Make sure you do that from within the pin. Then you're going to grab those 2 bands with your left hand or your opposite hand. Using your hook, come back to the pin. There should be 2 more bands on here, which is the bottom. And you're just going to pull them up and let go. And then with your left hand, you just want to pull, because it creates that slip knot on it, and then place that back onto the pin. And you can use your hook to straighten it out if it's a little crooked. So in case you didn't understand that, I'm certainly going to do that again. Let me just come in a little bit more. So we're going to go inside the pin, pushing back the top 2 layers, grab the bottom 2, and pull that up like that. And if it's easier, you can just keep those 2 bands on your hook, and with your fingers, the opposite hand, just pull those ones off the pin and release. And then just make sure you pull before putting it back on so that it's tight. Going to this one, we're going to do the same thing. Push back the top 2, grab the bottom 2, and bring them up. Going to release the bottom 2 off of the pin, giving that a little tug, putting that back on the pin. We have to do that all the way around, so just push those top 2 out of the way, grab the bottom 2 like that, remove the bottom 2 off of the pin. This one's a little hard for me, there we go. Give it a little pull, and place it back on the pin. I'm going to do my purple, going inside, grabbing the bottom 2, holding that up, releasing the 2 on the pin, pulling, and placing it back on. Now I'm going to do this one, pushing those 2 out of the way, pulling that up. Now I'm going to release the 2 that's on the pin. Sorry about my hand being in the way, okay? Pull, place it back on. Now you're probably wondering, well, the slip knot's not on top. That's okay. We actually want it that way. We want the slip knots to be underneath because we want the bottom is actually going to be what's the top of our bracelet when we take it off of the loom. Now there is another way you can do this. I guess it depends on what you think is easier. The original way that I did it was like this. On this, you can do it this way or the first way, but I just want you to have that option. So you can just go and grab the bottom 2 layers. Let me just turn it this way. I'm going to do my green. So grab the very bottom 2, bring it up like that, and then just make sure you pull it to make it tight. And you just do that all the way around. And just keep bringing the bottom 2 up and over and then making sure that it's tight. And lastly, my white, grabbing the bottom 2, bringing it up, pulling it to make sure it's tight. So you can do it this way as well. However, as you notice, the slip knots are on top, which is what we don't want. So if you do it this way, you then have to pop it off of the loom. And I'll show you, just like this. You have to release them all off of the pins. Like that. And then you can use your hook to go down and just pop it off. So you can do that, and then you just flip it over so that your little slip knots are on the bottom, and then you can just put it back on. Just make sure you pay attention to where you're placing your colors so that they end up in the same spot. So then you just grab your 2 bands. You can use your hook, or you can just grab it with your fingers and place it back on as well. And like I said, this is how I originally did it. The way that I'm doing it right now is how I did it when I made my bracelet. But I was trying to figure out a way that you wouldn't have to take it off of the loom. So that's why I showed you how we did it with the first one down here. So it's certainly up to you. I mean, it definitely comes out the same way. Either way that you do it. It just depends on what you think is faster. So I am going to do it the first way so that I don't have to keep taking them all off. But if that way is easier for you, you may certainly do it that way. So the original, or the first way that I showed you, I'm going to keep doing it like that. So I'm going to push these top 2 out of the way and grab my bottom 2. Grabbing it with my left hand and releasing it from the pin. And placing it back on. Doing the same thing here. Holding it with my left and releasing. And as you can see, mine started to pop off here in the middle. Just push it back down. It's really no biggie. Going inside my purple. Taking off the bottom layer. Now releasing. And placing it back on. Now my turquoise, I'm going to do the same thing. Sorry about my hand getting in the way. And when you pull, because you want to pull to make sure that it's creating that slip knot effect, but you don't want to pull like super, super tight because you don't want it to get too teeny or tiny because you want to be able to see that slip knot. But you want to pull it enough so that it's tight. So remember, you're going inside that pin, picking it up with your opposite hand, and then releasing the remainder bands off. So I'm going to go in here, pick up that band, and release. Place it back on the pin, going inside, removing that band, and releasing the other one, and putting it back on. Doing the same thing. We have to do this all the way up the loom. So I know it may seem like a lot of steps to make the bracelet, but I think it's super cute. So hopefully you guys do also. So I am going to go off camera and finish making all of my slip knots, and then I will meet you back up here to show you the next step. So once you've finished creating all of your slip knots and making sure that they are back on the loom, if you did it the second way by, taking them off, just make sure they are all back on there and look like this. The slip knot should be facing underneath, meaning you should not see them from the top. So now we have one more step to do before we close up the bracelet. So what we have to do now, if we just looped it up as it is right now, it would be too loose. Meaning the starburst centers would be too loose. So we actually need to create a cap band on the ends of each of our petals here. By doing so, and it's quite easy, is grab your hook and grab one of the sides of your bands, preferably the bottom layer. I guess it depends just like how you're sitting, what would be more comfortable. But grab, for instance, here I'm going to grab the bottom. So holding these two bands, I'm just going to stretch it like I'm going to stretch it forward. Let me move my hand. So I'm going to pull it up and then just kind of back down and just put it, oh, that didn't work out. Let me do that again. Actually, it did work, but let me do that again. Okay, so you're going to grab that bottom two bands, stretch it forward, and then back onto itself. By doing that move, it just created a cap band. I'll do that again in case it was confusing. So I'm going to grab these two bands here, stretching it like forward, and then just pulling back to itself. Grabbing the two bands, stretching it to the side, and then back on to itself. If you have an easier way, you can certainly do it like that. But as long as you are creating a cap band, so just pulling those two bands up and then back, pulling it, oh, my hand's in the way, up, and then back. And you'll know if you did it right because instead of two bands, it'll look like there's more bands on the pin. So that's what we need. We just need that to be tighter. So we need to keep doing that. Hopefully that doesn't look too confusing. I promise you once you start doing it a few times, it's super easy. If it's easier for you to pull down and then, I don't want my hand in the way. Let me try to do it this way. If you pull it down and then just like up and over, that might be easier. Stretch those two up and then back down, up and down, over and down. So you just want to make sure you're doing this on all of your pins. Make sure you don't forget any or else it will be too loose when we go to loop it. You're basically just taking the band and wrapping it around the pin. And I already did that one. Okay, so going on to my next one. And I'm not going to like fast forward or go off camera like I normally do. I'll just keep doing this. And if you've already got the hang of it or have yours completed and you don't want to wait around for me, you may certainly go ahead and just fast forward it. And again, I do apologize about my hand getting in the way. It's just the way I have to have my camera. Sometimes my hand gets in the way of what I'm doing. Okay, so I have all of mine capped out now. And now all we have to do is loop up our border bands underneath the dark blue, and then we are done. So I did realize as I was doing my cap bands that I had placed these two bands here that I actually don't want there. So to get rid of these, and I apologize about that, I didn't realize that when I was laying them, we're going to go inside, pushing the cap band out of the way, as if we're going to grab the blue bands. Well, that is what you're going to do, so let me show you that again. So go inside the white, grab the very top two blue bands, and just make sure you hold on to that cap band. And normally you would like hook that upon itself or whatever. Just let go, and then that will get rid of those blue bands. So now that we have those out of the way, now we can go ahead and loop up our border bands. So we're just going to go inside this cap band, pushing the cap band out of the way, grab the very top two bands, hold on to your cap band so they don't pop off, bring it to the left. You can do the same thing going inside, grabbing the bottom two and going to the right, and we're just going to loop it all the way up, and we're going to just continue doing that. So I'm going to do my, I'm going to do my right and then go to my left. So go up. And make sure you're getting inside all of those cap bands when you're grabbing your border band, because you have to go inside. So it may be a little bit tense, but just push them all out of the way. And make sure you're pushing back the bottom blue too. And only grabbing the very, very bottom two. Bring those forward. Going in again, grabbing those two, like so. This is probably the hardest pin because there's so many bands on there. But just try your best to push them all out of the way and only grab those very, very bottom two. And just like if you can see, I accidentally grabbed one that I shouldn't have. So I did go ahead off camera to fix that because I grabbed one band that I shouldn't have. So that's what I was trying to prevent you guys from doing. So make sure you only are grabbing those bottom two, and then just go forward like that. And we're going to do that all the way up the loom. So moving the cap band, I like to go to the left and then to the right, like that. And then I continue up the right side. And then I come back and finish off with the left side. If it's a little tight, just guide it along with your fingers. Going in all these bands, grabbing the bottom two. Going forward. Going out to the left. Out to the right. So just keep doing this until you have reached the end of your loom. And again, if you have beat me to it or already, got to the end, because I know I may be taking a little bit longer, you can certainly go ahead and fast forward as far as for the clipping of it. Sorry guys, I'm like so tired tonight. As you can probably tell compared to my other videos, I'm a little bit more chipper. But I didn't get very much sleep last night. Okay, I have 2 more to go. So I did go ahead and just hurried up and got those 2 done off camera because my editing that I used does not have a fast forward. So I didn't want to keep you guys waiting. And then the very last one, you're just going to go in, pushing those bands out of the way grab the very bottom two, and we're just going to bring those forward, and that's where we're going to be placing our C-clip right there. So you can actually go ahead and do that right now. Just push those out, those two bands out, and you can go ahead and just apply your C-clip like so. Okay, and now we can go ahead and remove the bracelet from the loom. You can just like pull it straight off if you like to do it that way, or you can use your hook. Sometimes it gets a little bit stuck because we have those cap bands on. But don't worry if it looks a little bit funny when you first pull it off. I will show you how to correct that. But just go all the way down the loom and pull it off. I did go ahead off camera and pulled it off my loom, but I didn't want to mess with it because you're probably saying, oh my gosh, what happened to my bracelet? It looks so crazy when you do pull it off. It might even look like this. So what you need to do is just face your bracelet down so that your little dash things are facing down. And with your thumbs, you're just going to push in like that. So you're like pushing that up. If you want to face it up and do it so you can see what you're doing, you can do that as well. And then you just stretch it out a little bit. So just do that all the way down the bracelet so that you're pushing all your flowers up. I'm doing it with my pointer finger with my bracelet facing me, and I'm just pushing up, and as you can see, it pops that out nicely like that. And that one's already done. So just make sure that you have them all facing up in the correct direction. Give your bracelet a nice little squeeze or stretch. Find the end of your C-clip. Coming down here, you can just find the bottom of that cap band. Or it's the bottom of the white, actually. That cap band, which was my last petal. And just clip that onto there. And there you go. So I know you have to kind of do a lot to get the final look of this bracelet, but I definitely think it's worth it. I think it's super cute. It's really cool. I've gotten a lot of compliments on the bracelet that I wear that I did of this, and I just hope you guys like it as well. So just don't forget to push them all up so it doesn't look all crazy. And here you have the completed Lifesaver Burst bracelet. And like I said, guys, this design is certainly dedicated to all of our soldiers out there who risk their lives and fight for us every single day. So thank you so much. This certainly goes out to all of you guys. And if you like this video or this bracelet, please give this video a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below if you have not done so already. And guys, I am sorry that I was a little bit tired in this video, but yeah, so I thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you at my next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye!